Mr. Speaker, and look forward to this bill passing.
Mr. Speaker.
Call Darren Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, that was, how long was that? 2 minutes? Okay, 2 minutes from the Chair of the Transport and Industrial Relations.
That's quite a long one for Bella.
It is quite a long one, really, and I think he needs to be careful. I think he needs to be careful, really, about showing that his commitment to what he said was a very important bill in this House. I mean, the truth is about this bill is it wouldn't be in the House if the national government hadn't stuffed it up in the first place. That is the truth about this bill, the Land Transport and Road User Charges Legislation Amendment Bill. That is the truth, and I agree with my colleague, Elise Galloway, who said it is entirely appropriate that the Minister Simon Bridges was introducing this on behalf of Jerry Brownlee, because this, no, I know he didn't say that, and that is a problem too, actually. That is a problem, but he didn't, he introduced it because this is not a man known for attention to detail. This is not a man known for attention to detail. This is a man, this is a minister that has already had to come back to the House on several bills and make corrections and drive through changes at the last possible minute. Now, what happened with this bill, of course, look, this was a very, very controversial bill at the time that it went through the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee, and well, you weren't there, Toy Henry wasn't there, but it was a controversial bill, and in fact there were a number of transport providers that were very, very upset about what the government was doing, and there was even a little bit of a campaign, as I recall, online. And what happened with the bill is the government was given advice by their friends in the trucking industry, and they ignored it. They ignored it. And they were given advice by their friends in the agriculture industry, and they ignored that advice as well. So what happened? It got referred to the Regulations Review Committee, and my colleague Marion Street will talk with great erudition about exactly what happened at the Regulation Review Committee, but the truth is it would never have been necessary for this bill to go to the Regulations Review Committee to come back as yet another bill on road user charges if the government, if the minister, if the associate minister and the National Party members had done their job properly in the first place. Now, just talking briefly about what the purpose of the bill, it does propose to amend the Road User Charges Act, which we have, as I said, quite recently in this House, actually passed a bill about road user charges, and I just want to divert it just for a minute, Mr. Speaker, to remind the House that actually, going back, Labor's very supportive of measures to reduce road user charges evasion. And going right back to the 2008, remember there was a huge mass protest from the truckies, yes, and the then Minister, Annette King, was involved in that, in the transport industry, after we actually introduced road user charges or increases. And it was used as a political tool by the National Party. That was 2008, but we don't forget that. We don't forget that. We don't forget that. And I was very pleased when the road user charges bill came into Parliament to see actually the truckers were just as annoyed with the national government. In fact, there were online petitions and other things just as annoyed with the national government, apart from their friends in the Road Transport Forum who don't represent their members. Don't listen to what they're saying. But we are, on this side of the House, we were the instigators, we were the people that supported road user charges, and we also supported this bill, the original Road User Charges Amendment Bill, brought forward by this national government. We supported that too, even though we had concerns, and we were supporting the people that were concerned about it at the time. And as I said, what happened, Mr. Speaker, is the government didn't listen. And so here we are in urgency, wasting our time on doing a bill that will actually exempt fast tractors. That's what this bill is going to do. It's going to exempt fast tractors, that is, tractors operated over 40 kilometres per hour on the road, from road user charges, and subject them to an annual charge. Now, I just find that really interesting, that we could not, that the Select Committee and the ministers at the time could not get the definition of a fast tractor right at the time. And actually, a fast tractor, according to the regulatory impact statement, the glossary, a fast tractor is a tractor is operated over 40 kilometres per hour on a road, as opposed to being capable of speeds in excess of 40 kilometres per hour. That's what a fast tractor is. And for the purposes of the road user charges system, a tractor is defined as being a motor vehicle designed and constructed and not merely adapted for traction and powering implements. So that's the substance of this bill. That's what this bill is about. It's about fast tractors. It's about as opposed to slow tractors. Now they're a menace. I think they're a menace. Fast tractors are a menace. But anyway, that's the purpose of the bill. And in addition, this bill will amend the Act to provide for fast tractors. And I'm really looking forward to the Select Committee process, and maybe we'll have a demonstration at the Select Committee of a fast tractor compared to a slow one. Oh, a tractor coming up the steps in Parliament. That's right, we could have that as well. In fact, it might be a tractor coming up the steps of Parliament opposing this bill, actually opposing the national government, and actually that would be very interesting. But apparently there's 7 minor technical amendments to the Road User Charges Act that will improve operation of the road user charges system. What I do know about this bill and the original bill, Mr. Speaker, is that there's still a residue of resentment about this from trucking operators. They still don't believe that the original road user charges amendment bill that this government brought in was fair. They're still not convinced by it, and I think it's a demonstration of the fact that the government didn't do its job properly in the first place. It's a demonstration by having to have this bill back in the Parliament. Now, according to the explanatory note, most aspects of this new system are working well, but there is a need to correct some minor anomalies with the Road User Charger Act that affect a small number of vehicles and their owners. Now, why couldn't we do the job in the Select Committee of correcting some minor anomalies with the Road User Charges Act that affect a small number of vehicles and their owners? Why could not that work be done? As I say, it's a lack of attention to detail from this government, from the new minister he's following his elders, his more senior ministers. He's following their tradition of not doing the job properly, of not paying attention to detail, of not listening to people, of just being lazy, of sitting in select committees, taking the advice of people instead of listening to the people on the ground, just as he's doing with the Employment Relations Act Amendment Bill, actually, just as he's doing with that, just as David Bennett is doing too, just as the other members are doing on the Select Committee. And actually, Mr. Speaker, we don't need this work in the Select Committee. The Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee is very, very busy. It has 15,000 submissions to take note of on the Employment Relations Bill. It also has the Pike River Amendment Bill. It has major health and safety legislation in front of it. We don't need this. This didn't need to happen, Mr. Speaker. This didn't need to happen if only the ministers, if only the chair of the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee had done their job properly. We would not be rushing through an urgency the first reading of the Land Transport and Road User Charges and Legislation Amendment Bill that is going to be dealing with fast tractors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. I'm calling Julianne Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise